Looking for a cool, crazy shirt that'll make you want to slap your mama? Then check out CrazyDogT-shirts.com.
Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Omar from GeeksterLabs.com, and today I have another brand new review for you. This is a review of a product that was just released a few days ago. It's brand new, and it is the Beats by Dre Studio headphones. And of course, this is the second version of the Studio headphones, the 2013 version. So they've made quite a few changes to this pair of headphones, and so we're going to talk about some of those changes and basically how this pair of headphones stacks up to other competitors. Okay, so let's get straight into the review. First, let's talk about the accessories. As you can see here, included with the Beats by Dre Studio headphones is one AC wall adapter, 3 different types of cables, and a hard shell carrying case. Here's the AC wall adapter with a real nice matte finish to it. The prongs just snap off the back right there, and on the bottom we have the USB connection, so you can charge up the headphones with that right there. And next we have the actual USB cable that you would use to charge up this device, and on one end we have a micro USB, and the other end we have just a regular USB. And like I mentioned earlier, this headphones the battery built into it will last a good 20 hours on one full charge. Next is just a regular audio cable, and this is just a straight cable, 3.5 millimeter. And inside we can see that at the one tip is a straight plug, and the other is a 90-degree angle plug. And these are both pretty small plugs, so they should fit on your phone even if it's in a case. And next is an inline remote and mic cable, and included with this is an actual microphone, and it has a straight plug on one end and a 90-degree plug on the other end, just like the first cable. But this includes the remote as well, so you can use this to raise the volume, lower the volume, and you actually control tracks as well, pressing the center button, and it'll use it to answer phone calls. And in the back there's a microphone built into it, so you can answer and talk on the phone. Alright guys, next let's talk about the headphones. And so like I mentioned already, this is the second version of the Beats Studios from Beats by Dre. And they mentioned on their website that they actually have shaved 13% off of this pair of headphones, off the weight from the original pair. And I definitely can notice that it is less bulky, but I think it looks really nice. And so, you know, the original headphones were not that heavy, but this pair is very nice. They're very comfortable to wear. I actually tested these out for a few days at my job, so basically 8 hours each day with these on my head. On and off, I'll take them off here and there, but for the most part, you know, I was listening to music the whole time, and they were fine. But the new design that they're using on these headphones is really nice. I have to give it to Beats. They've done a really good job of kind of refining and streamlining them. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really a big fan of Beats by Dre headphones. I just think they're incredibly overpriced for the sound quality that they produce. And we'll talk about sound quality with these in just a second. But I do think that they have done a better job of making these feel a little less cheap. You know, the Beats by Dre, most of their headphones are plastic, except for the really more expensive ones, the pros and the executives, and the mixers as well. And so I think having the plastic on them makes them feel a little bit cheaper. But for some reason, the Beats Studios, these feel a little more solid, and the band, as you can tell, it's not like a flat. It still uses a shiny, glossy plastic, but it's not flat. It's like it has a curve to it. So there's something about it that just looks a little bit more refined, a little bit nicer. I still think they're overpriced headphones for what you're getting, especially since they're predominantly made of plastic and leather. But I do think it's a step up from the original design, and I do think they look pretty nice. Of course, because of the shiny plastic, you are going to have an issue with fingerprints over time, especially with the black pair. I think if you had the white pair of headphones, it probably wouldn't be an issue or as noticeable, but the black you could definitely tell because of the shiny plastic. But the construction of them feels really very solid. I like how they eliminated the screws that were on the edges from the original the Beats Studios, so that they're a lot more cleaner, a lot more streamlined. They look really sharp. The band on top is really nice. It's very comfortable. It's a larger silicone band on top with some padding in it. It's very nice and no issues at all. The ear cups are made of leather, but they're real soft leather. They're very comfortable to wear, and they do a really good job of canceling out some of the noise. Now, of course, this pair of headphones is noise-canceling headphones, which means they have to be powered. So it does include, like I said, a 20-hour rechargeable battery. And the nice thing about that is that you can actually see whenever you press the button on the side, the lights will light up, letting you know how much battery life is left. There's 5 lights, 5 LEDs, so it'll show you, basically let you know how much juice you got left. And the other cool thing too is when you plug in the headphones, they automatically turn on, and when you pull the cord out, stow them away, it'll turn off the battery for you automatically, so you won't just drain the battery with them sitting there. However, the one issue I have, and I think it's something that they really need to correct on this, is once the battery dies, you're no longer able to use the headphones. They're dead. And I think that for me, that's kind of a big bummer. I mean, I just have to, for me, I have to keep making sure that they were charged at all times. Is one thing. As long as you make sure they're always topped off and charged, you'll be fine. But I just think there's going to be some situations where you're using them for long periods of time, you don't realize that they're about to die, and that's it. You have a dead pair of headphones that are no use to you, and you have to go charge them back up again. So I do think they should have kind of rethought that and maybe done something a little bit different to make it a little more passive, so you can actually just plug them in. You won't have the noise canceling, but you'll still be able to hear the audio. I'm not really impressed with the noise canceling of these headphones. I guess I've seen and I've played with and I've tested other headphones before that have noise canceling that have much better noise canceling. For these, whenever you turn the noise canceling on, it kind of just sounds like it's pumping white noise into your ears. If you're not familiar with what that sounds like, it's almost like air conditioning being turned on, but like it's really subtle and light, and it kind of just fills your ears so that you don't really hear too much sound on the outside. But even with that, I felt that the noise canceling was not very strong. I've tested other headphones, like I said, that do a much better job to where you could barely hear yourself talk, or you can snap your fingers in front of your face and barely hear the snapping of your fingers. With these, if you're really looking for a good pair of noise canceling headphones, I wouldn't recommend buying this pair. There's plenty of other noise canceling headphones for the same exact price point. Maybe not looking as cool as this pair, but I do a better job of noise canceling. So that's that. Now let's talk about the audio quality. Now, I will say the audio quality is probably the biggest improvement I've seen in these headphones. Obviously, the physical look of it's very nice, and they've refined it a little bit, but the audio quality is much better. I think that there's still a pair of bass-heavy headphones. The focus is still going to be there on bass, but they haven't neglected the highs and the mids. They've done a really good job of keeping it to be sounding like a well-rounded pair of headphones. The other studios were ridiculous, especially at high levels if you listen to them really loudly. Even with hip-hop, the bass was great and thumping, but the vocals and things like that were just muddy, and you could muddle, and you could barely hear them very well. It wasn't very sharp. I'm not saying that they've extremely improved the quality. I still feel that for the price point that the sound quality is not quite there, but they are definitely much more improved from the original pair. So the highs and mids are a little more pronounced in music, so I definitely, before I would say like you only want to listen to hip-hop and dubstep and that type of music with these headphones. But now, if you want to listen to some rock, some indie, some jazz, some classical, all the different types of genres of music besides hip hop that aren't super bass heavy, I think you'll have an okay experience with these headphones. I would not recommend this pair of headphones just because of the price point. $300 is quite a lot of money to pay in a pair of headphones. And I think the most of that price is because of the noise canceling feature, but I don't feel the noise canceling is that great. So, I just don't. Maybe if they were like under $200, I would recommend them. They're solid construction. They're pretty well put together. They're very stylish. They're very nice. Of course, there's people out there that hate Beats. There's people out there who are diehard fans of Beats. I'm not a huge fan of them. I've tested other headphones I feel are way better value than this pair of headphones. But definitely, I think if you are a fan of Beats and you're considering getting these or replacing your old studios, I would definitely recommend it. The quality, the craftsmanship, the sound quality, it's much better on this newer pair than the older pair. So guys, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video review, and please post your questions and comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it, and I will see you guys in the next video review.